Let's look at some more chain rule problems. So let's find the derivative of the function y equals 3x minus 1 over x squared plus 3 squared. So here I see I have an inside and an outside. The inside part consists of this quotient, and then the outside is the squared function. So we're going to start with the chain rule. So start by using the chain rule. So y prime, do the power rule first, 2, 3x minus 1 over x squared plus 3. And the power reduces down to a 1 times the derivative of the inside, 3x minus 1 over x squared plus 3. And so now we're taking the derivative of a quotient, so I'm going to need to use the quotient rule. So we get 2 times this stuff in the front. Okay. And now the derivative here, use your quotient rule. It's the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom all over the bottom squared. And then I need to compute some more derivatives. I need to compute this derivative and this derivative, but those are just power rule derivatives. So you get x squared plus 3 times 3 minus 3x minus 1 times 2x over x squared plus 3 squared. So we can now combine. Let's see, I have 2, I have a 3x minus 1, and then I'm going to combine this 2x plus 3 and this 2x plus 3 squared into an x squared plus 3 and an x squared plus 3 squared into a cube there. And then if I distribute out that 3x squared plus 9, then a minus, you have 6x minus 2x. So if I simplify all that stuff down, you would get that should have been a square there. You would be left with a negative 3x squared, a positive 2x plus 9. And there's my derivative. Let's look at a couple more. So let's look at some more examples. I'm just going to write the function here, and I want you to take the derivative. Y equals sine of 2x. What would the derivative of that be? Y prime. Use the chain rule. 2x is on the inside, so the derivative of sine, cosine, times the derivative of the inside, which is just 2. So this will be 2 cosine of 2x. There's my derivative. What if my function said y equals cosine of x minus 1? Again, my inside here is x minus 1. My outside is going to be the cosine function. What's the derivative of cosine? Negative sine times the derivative of the inside. The derivative of x minus 1 is just 1. So y prime would be negative sine of x minus 1. Third one we're going to look at, y equals e to the 3x. Now when you're thinking about this, your inside is really this 3x. So when you have e to the x, right, the derivative would be itself, e to the 3x, times the derivative of the inside, which is 3x. The derivative of 3x is 3, so this will be 3 e to the 3x. Next one, y equals cosine squared. Now when you see this, you should think of it's cosine all squared. And there's my inside is cosine. So when I go to take this derivative now, y prime, use your chain rule, 2 cosine x, now the power is 1, times the derivative of the inside, the derivative of cosine. It's a minus sign, so you'll have a negative now, minus 2 cosine x sine x. I just pulled that negative out in front. And then the last one in this group, let's look at y equals the square root of cosine x. Again, think of this as being a power to the 1/2. And now you can use your chain rule. Y prime, do your power first, 1/2 cosine x to the negative 1/2 times the derivative of cosine. The derivative of cosine is a minus sign. So you can leave it like that, or you could write it as minus sine x over 2 square root of cosine x. And there's my derivative. Let's look at one more in this group. Let's look at the following problem. Let's say my function is f of t is going to be sine cubed of 4t, and I want you to find the derivative of this one. Again, it might help if you start by rewriting this function as sine of 4t cubed. And here's my inside now, sine of 4t, and my outside is my cubed power. So the derivative, 3 sine of 4t squared times the derivative of the inside. But you'll notice I have a composition still here. I still have an inside and an outside. So I'm going to have to use the chain rule again. So it would be 3, and I'll just write this as sine squared of 4t. The derivative of sine is cosine times the derivative of 4t. And that's just the power rule, and the derivative is going to be 4. So I'll pull that out in the front with this 3. It'll become a 12 sine squared of 4t cosine of 4t. And there's my derivative.